MB2 Underground is back with a brand new episode. Thank you for tuning in yet again. I am Sarah Kiefer.
And I'm Joe Fox. Welcome back, Miss Kiefer.
Thank
How are you, friend?
Good. I heard you've done some of these solo.
How was your trip?
It was amazing. Have you been to Wyoming before?
I have not. No, ma'am. Tell me about
your
it.
hiking sticks came in handy. I don't think that's like the official term for the
Awesome.
sticks.
I think they are. Like hiking poles, maybe. But
Oh yeah, poles. They were incredible. I didn't use them, but
great time though.
Yeah,
break.
it was so fun.
Awesome. Well, you were sorely missed.
And I was very sore.
But but we marched on.
Did you like that pun?
I did. Nice.
Thank you.
Hey, we got another awesome one today.
Are you saying that just because y'all share a first name?
That is important. But no, we've got a very, very special guest, an OG of OGs to the MB2 family.
Do you think that we say OG? I think we call every single doctor that comes in an OG.
But no, really, truly, this is OG, right? And we'll explain that here in a hot second. But the best damn dentist in Memphis, Tennessee, owner of 6 locations currently.
Crazy.
Dr. Joe Dove. Welcome, sir.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, we're so pumped to have you.
Same.
You've got a really special, unique business. You got a really cool story, right? And I can't wait to get into that and got some fun questions to ask you and can't wait to learn more about the business. But
yeah, me too.
To kick us off, our president, Justin Puckett, I told him you were coming in for the podcast. He said, okay, great. I need you to ask Dr. Dove for the recipe of that punch that you served him at the anniversary, your 10-year anniversary party way back in 2015. Do you have the recipe for us?
No. I have to kill you.
Secret sauce.
I have to kill you
like,
first.
It's probably illegal.
Actually, I can't say it because we're on the podcast. They keep clean. But my cousins that come from Detroit, they actually made it.
No way. Like they invented it.
They invented it. And you drinking it, it's going to put you on you know what.
Okay.
How about we
I
do
don't
it
know
like
what.
that?
What is it?
I
What does
love
it put you on?
On your butt.
There we go.
The butt's the clean part, but that's not what they say. So,
all right, from Detroit, that's all we needed to hear. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So maybe to kick us off, like rewind us back to 2015, right? What was happening with your business back then? I mean, it's quite a bit different than what exists now.
Yeah, so, about 2013, 14, I started getting calls, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, we want to buy your practice. I'm like, that's weird.
Right.
Then one of our chief competitors actually flew to town to meet with myself and maybe one other doctor, allegedly. Here's the weird part. They had my phone number at my house.
Wow.
My home phone number was unlisted. So
they said, I'll find
always
you.
came to meet you and blah, blah. So I started getting nervous because I'm at a major intersection and I know the guy next door to me, he has a dental clinic in the back of that building. He wants to sell this building. So I know if big money came in there or a big company came in, I was in trouble.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just that. That was just one facet of it. The other part was, excuse me, that we kept growing the practice. And the practice kept growing. Well, your friendly neighborhood Dr. Dove does not have business training. So mine came on the fly and learning how to run a business. Fortunately, I have some street sense, as they say. You got working knowledge, you got real world knowledge, and real world application. So I had to be smart enough to know that when people are coming, they come first with the carrot, then after that comes the stick. So I had to find a partner. Because we kept growing, and I said, there's no way I can manage this by myself. And I was working a lot of hours, 60 hours a week, trying to manage a growing enterprise that just kept growing. Mm-hmm. You couldn't put a lid on it. It's like trying to put a lid back on a boiling pot.
How was it growing so quickly? Like, what were you doing? I mean, you're obviously a great clinician, but like, what was the magic sauce of that?
Availability.
Yeah.
Customer service was tantamount to success because anybody can do dentistry.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you buying a car. You get service after a sale. Can you stand by what you do? Mm-hmm. Are you willing to say this is not up to snuff? Are you willing to fall on the sword or stand on your shield or whatever? We're willing to do all that. The communities that we service, that's atypical. Usually it's like a grab, right?
Yeah.
People take the money, sucks for you, and keep going.
Very transactional. Yeah.
So no, I'm a firm believer in that. Then, of course, we advertised on television and we wrote commercial. Of course, we did a little bit of social media was just starting out, but mostly television. Mm-hmm. And that really, I helped write the commercial. I said, well, I know my product the best, so here you go. You can tweak it from there. I don't have any training in that, but here's what worked for us so far.
Wow.
Do it. So television really helped bring a broad net. It was just broadcast channel, just regular CBS, WREG.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is like trial and error. What's working, what's not working while you're also running a practice and leading a team and treating patients.
Right. So I would do the work that others wouldn't, right? So, we're multilinguistic in the practice, a couple languages, English and Spanish being primarily. But what we would do is say, okay, you don't want to work the evening, we'll work the evening. You don't want to work Saturdays, work Saturdays. you try and get everything from the patients who don't have a heavy loaded disposable income. We'll work out arrangements for them.
Wow.
So we just start surveying the competition around us to find out what worked and what didn't work. Sometimes we actually cold call, find out what their exam rates are. Just block me. I didn't have any money to advertise. I was broke.
Right.
I should be frank. I started that practice from the seat of my pants with a wife and 3 sons to support. And so I moonlit. I worked day, and then I worked during the evenings. And, of course, we're bilingual. That helped. So we advertised in Spanish radio and newspaper, print media. The print media has gone by the way of the dog for the most part in our market. But we started just being innovative because it's kind of like, does it work? Let's implement it. And if it didn't work, we gave enough time to have some legs to it. And if it didn't, we weren't afraid to scrap it.
Where do you think that like mentality of servant leadership came from? Because I feel like what you're saying that really set you apart from your competitors was your willingness to do things that were best for your patients, but maybe not the funnest stuff to do.
Well, I put myself in their shoes.
Yeah.
So a lot of folks will, in our profession, will just highlight them. The highlights. We can do veneers, we can do this and this. Well, the people that work, they can't afford those veneers, but they can afford a root canal. They can afford extraction. So listen to the patients, which is in business, it's your customer, but it's also your patient. Listen to what their needs are. So if this is the only thing calling your phone right now, this is your patient base. You can't change that patient base because they're part of that fabric of that community.
Right.
So you need to listen to them. Walmart doesn't move a store because the demographics change. They put the product on the shelf that the customer needs.
They adapt.
So we essentially adapted to the marketplace and survey those and ask questions, open conversation. What brought you here? 9 times out of 10, it's customer service.
Yeah.
People are afraid to talk and afraid to face adversity because they call it dental practice, not a dental profession.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So we'll never, if we call it dental perfection, then we can see the patient one time and be done forever. Put some pixie dust on them and a wand, and that's it. Unfortunately, life doesn't work like that. You know?
Yeah. So Susan Huff tells one of my absolute favorite stories, right? Chief Integration Officer Susan Huff, you know her well. She was your Director of Operations originally,
Yes,
right,
sir.
in 2015. So she gives the best tours. So if, partners come in, potential partners come in from discovery days, and she gives the best tours. Second only, or followed very closely by Miss Kiefer here, beautiful Miss Kiefer.
She's cutting her
Thank
eyes
you,
at you,
because
by
I
the
was
way.
about to kick you up under this table.
You learned how to tour from Susan, though, right?
Okay, valid,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
I'll
So
allow it.
Susan gives you great tours. But anyway, she always stops on the second floor at the Lacey building at a picture of you at a Jamaica mission trip, right? And she stops and tells a story about when we partnered with you, and you were one of our first like true actual partnerships as opposed to kind of the de novo model previously.
Right. November 2015, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, OG, right? Legit OG. So she tells the story about how when you all partnered with MB2, you said, hey, we're going to do Spanish radio. And our team was like, hey, Dr. Dove, there's not a great return on investment on radio. Like, we think it's a bad idea. And you're like, no. I know my patient base. We're going to do Spanish radio. And it was the right move. It was the right decision.
Yeah, we try not to make a bad one. You don't know until you try it. But because I was in that market and understood the pulse of the market. Now here it would be difficult here because there's competition everywhere. So in that marketplace, that was a completely underserved population. So from the start, everything we had was bilingual because people need a way to go. They don't need to be judged. They need care, right? So the radio is AM at the time, and their outreach was far. We had like a 2-hour radius.
Wow.
So we would pull patient base in from 2-hour radius surrounding Memphis. Still to this day, I think the patient base ratio is about 3.5 now.
How cool.
So
That's
people,
incredible.
they'll leave and they'll come and, hey, we're going to hear. And I'm like, and then one comes and you have more come from the community.
Yep.
And you need to give them better service than you even gave the first because they drove past 100 offices to get to you.
Wow.
So you have to humble yourself to understand that's respect. You don't take advantage of those folks because people have taken advantage of them in their communities. They come to you for a reason.
Yep.
And it's not because you're cheap. It's because you take care of them and you care.
And they trust you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember being your marketing coordinator. I think you were like the 3rd practice that I got in my like book of business. And I really respected the fact that I would throw things at you and you would very clearly say, this is not for my patients. I was like, okay. Even though I could sit there and say it works at other practices, it wasn't a good representation of your practice. And it was very interesting, and it was a good learning opportunity for me to see the clear direction and how valuable that is, because you were always right. Even with I remember the commercials. I couldn't understand them. They were in Spanish, but I remember sending them over.
Yeah, they work, and when it stops, it has, it runs a cycle, and you try something else. But really the consistency, that they know your presence. The biggest problem in dentistry is people advertise for a little bit. And then they stop. It didn't work. Well, you didn't try it, and what didn't work? You know, if somebody does work for an advertiser, ask them what brought them. What they see in there that actually brought them to your door.
Take a second. Talk to them.
Yeah. A lot of docs don't have a lot of real work experience, right? Because you're academic, you're also in that fast track, you're volunteering and everything else. But I was fortunate to have real world experience. I was ex-military. I've been feeding myself for a long time. So I worked both sides of the fence. So I understand what the patient's needs are to a certain degree. And you can never learn enough, right? So
Yeah. I want to go back. I know Joe was talking about the tour and the mission trip, but you are our MB2 Dental Jamaican mission trip author. Tell us a little bit about how that whole process got started.
Okay, well, let me throw this back. I'm old now. Let me throw this back when I was in the military, right? I was in Honduras. I was 18 years old. It was back in 1988.
Wow.
So,
Now you're aging yourself.
Hey, it's true. It is what it is. But I was a soldier, right? And I was in Central America. And in Honduras, I was in the air base. And once or twice a month, this is before I was in healthcare, I was a supply for Black Hawk helicopters and all this other kind of stuff, tech supply, like an auto zone for helicopters, right? But that's how they had a health mission. And they would treat the people around, they open it up, and I'm like, can I volunteer? You're not healthcare. But
I can be.
Yeah, I can be. And my goal was when I left the military was to get money for school. But I knew I wanted to be a doctor, right? This is way back when.
Yeah.
But I said, man, I love what they were doing. I said, one day I want to be able to do that, right? Fast forward career, and I couldn't find the right person or group to link up with, right? Because everybody had agendas. Don't like agendas. Agendas are the people. That's the only agenda I have. No other mantra should be in place if you're just doing the work, right?
Right.
So fast forward, 2015, my partner and best friend, Dr. Polk, we'll get to him later. But my best friend in life, period, is my brother. He said, Joe, I signed you up for a mission. We're going to Jamaica for a week in November 2015.
Why is that the most Dr. Polk thing I've ever heard? That sounds just like him.
It is, and I'm keeping it clean because we're on a podcast, and there's no mute button right now.
No, don't. You shouldn't.
It is a family show, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
never mind.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm trying to keep it clean, right?
I feel like we're the angel and the devil on our shoulders.
No, for me, that people say something different. I'm just kidding. But anyway, he said he signed me up. So we went to Jamaica for a week, right? And we worked in health departments, local, right? So we went in there. We did a lot of work. We worked really hard, and it was really hot, and it was beautiful, right? That was the week before I joined MB2.
Wow.
I come back and finished signing paperwork and everything. And Dr. Villanueva, Dr. V, affectionately, goes, hey, Joe, come here. We're in the back hallway. I said, hey, man, I want to talk to you. You just got back from a mission trip, right? I said, yeah, man. He said, look, can you help get us to Jamaica? And here I am like, hey, who's going to take care of this?
I'm new here.
I'm new. I'm like, hey, man, is this some kind of hazing or something? But he's like, no, man, really, this is where I met my wife. And we were doing mission work. And can you lead us back down there? I said, sure.
How cool.
Because I'm not afraid of a challenge, right? So the mission trip just kind of evolved over the years. And they said, well, we started from working with a small group in health departments. I said, well, let's keep evolving this thing. Yeah. And as we kept growing, and our vendors out there, shout out to y'all, were very generous. Mm-hmm. And Dr. V, of course, has supported this thing hands down. So all the execs is too many people named, too many people internal to name that I've worked with over the years, helped put the mission together. And then they say, okay, I just need the playbook, right? You tell me what you want, how you want it, and then we'll just try our best. Myself and Dr. Polk, on our end, we'll try to make it happen. Yeah. So it's been a great thing.
That's a beautiful tradition. It's really special.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely incredible. I got to go this past year, and I honestly didn't know what to expect, but Dr. Dove's been talking about this for years, and getting to see it in real time and getting to see our doctors in action, I mean, it was dope.
Let me tell you what I did. The execs that I did this to, I hazed them 2 years in a row.
Oh, gosh.
They're going to get me.
They deserved it.
Y'all deserve it, and it sucks for y'all. But real talk, so go down there, and because dentistry is one thing in itself, right? But coming down to the basal layer where you don't have all the bells and whistles and all the toys and everything is different. So the first thing I did this last year when I went, I said, okay, what you want us to do? I said, who hates blood? All three raised their hands. Two raised their hands. I said, okay, you guys pour the blood out. I said, just pour them out. The unit said, think of it as like Kool-Aid.
Yep.
I said, but just dispose of it. I said, everybody gets out their comfort zones, right?
Yeah.
So the fun part, of course, being a vet, is you go to basic training, right? Basic training is 3 months, give or take. It's like 11, 12 weeks, give or take. So you have people from all different walks of life. They have to come together as a unit. Forget political, social, ethnic affiliations. Mm-hmm. You are a team. And then there is green. It's everybody's soldiers. So essentially, when the docs and execs come down, I have like a few hours to create a basic training environment.
Wow.
and issue edicts and orders and things without being too pushy, but get people in their comfort zones quickly.
Yeah.
Right? So a shout out to my team from Memphis over the years, from Dove Family Dentistry team that have come down.
They're incredible.
They come down and they are the support team, and they bust their humps to make sure every station set up, break down accordingly, because we come in the day before and we come out after to make sure everything is in its place for future missions, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
So doing those missions, watching the docs come in, they call me, hey, Dove, get on that list. I say, hey, man, I am the running back and he's the quarterback. We get the book of plays. We get our list a little while beforehand. We do a little research on who's coming. So we make sure we put those docs in the right place, because we don't want to force them and make them uncomfortable.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when they come down there.
For sure.
So when they come and said, nothing nice, we're going to sweat, we're going to work. And as Sarah witnessed down there on this last trip here, we had a few challenges from the bureaucratic side, but we ironed those out. And so we got to this church, and it was basically standing room only inside and out. The videos don't do it justice.
No.
Wow.
No.
And we were in the basement essentially with no circulating air.
No, it was hot.
Unreal.
There were people lined up out the doors. There were people, I mean, the amount of support that we could offer felt like we weren't doing nearly enough, and our doctors did so much.
Yeah. I said, this time I would make sure, because I've been going to Jamaica for 30 years. My wife's Jamaican. We've been going there. I've been going there really 34 years now to Jamaica. So I've been about 2/3 of the island. So you pick up on the people.
Mm-hmm.
So the one thing they know is when they have student missions that go down there, that's a little dangerous sometimes, depending if they have enough supervision.
Yeah.
But our doctors are licensed practicing doctors, and that makes a big difference on the quality of care. That's no disrespect to other teams that may go.
Yeah.
But when every once in a while we'll get a pop-up visit by the health inspectors and things, that's fine, because we have everything they require and then some.
Yeah.
So because of the generous donations by the vendors, that support, I don't have to look over my shoulder, because I know that part's covered. So they can come walk in all day, all night. Here you go.
Love it.
It's all right there.
Well, and now you know the Prime Minister, right?
This was the former Prime Minister in 2015. It was funny, because we were part of an adjunct of a medical mission out of Jacksonville, Florida. Duval, if you know what you know. That's what they call Jacksonville. They don't call it Jacksonville, they call it Duval. So anyway, we're down there with this big medical group, right? And we're the dentist. The dentist had a horrible reputation, right? I don't know why. Not us yet. We developed one as we went along.
You
Anyway,
said we earned ours.
Oh, we did. I got a Bronze Star. But no, seriously, we went down there, and our partners in Jamaica are called Jamaicans Caring for Jamaicans, right? But their commercial wing is Jamaica Tours Limited. So these big blue tour buses, they have thousands of vehicles on the island. They were our friends. And they said, hey, we want to meet the dentist, because their goal was to partner and run their own charitable mission, just not write a blank check. And it goes off to Eastwood Plain. They want to be intimately involved in the product.
Okay.
So they pull us to the side. It was myself, Dr. Polk, and two other docs with us. And they said, can you guys do something with us? We want you guys to come back with dentists. I said, well, I'm joining this big group when I get back. I can pitch it to them when I get back. Well, Dr. V cut me off at the pass, because I said, I don't know, but I'm joining this big group. And I said, these guys are really progressive. I think they'll really respond to this. I didn't know it was going to turn into this. I had no earthly idea. So we're standing there. All of a sudden, this cavalcade of cars comes through. These nice European cars with flags on them and everything. This is the Prime Minister, Portia Miller Simpson of Jamaica. She's tall. She's about 5'10", 5'11". They call her Mama.
Mama.
They call her Mama. It's her
that.
affection name, Mama.
Mama.
So anyway, we go down there, and they have this big presentation. And then they said, hey, we want you to meet some folks, the dentist. So it was like 40 freaking doctors down there, and then us, our ragtag bunch of dentists. We got to meet her. She thanked us for coming, and I said, she asked about Jamaican roots. I said, I'm not Jamaican. Everybody thought I was Jamaican. No, my wife is from Yard, which means you're from Jamaica. Because I'm married to her, I'm a half Yardie. And Polk with me, they call him quarter Yardie.
I love
it. That one there, I'm half Yardie. That one over there, quarter Yardie. Because my wife is Jamaican, and it's just a term of endearment. But the Prime Minister then, she was really cool. She thanked us, and I was like, here I am. Join this group, and before I even get here, I already signed the docs and everything, so officially in my mind I was already MB2. So I was speaking for us ahead of time. But anyway, got down there, and she was really cool. Portia Miller Simpson, she ran a part for a couple of years, but they were really cool, and we did that medical mission with them twice. And it was life-changing, because you get to see things when people have certain levels, because in the islands it's like a half and half not.
Yeah.
And she was really big on supporting the have-nots.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
So it's been that was just a surprise.
How cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
So take us back 2015. You had one practice. You now have six in the greater Memphis area. How did
That's
that happen?
insane.
How did
Hold
you do
on,
that?
let me get my own shot. Let me pat myself on the back. I'm kidding.
No, but you earned that.
We actually are opening a 7th location here in a few more months. So
Congratulations.
thank you. We just picked up the keys. It has to do some work before it meets our standards, but that'll be open probably 4th quarter sometime.
That
but
is so exciting.
Yeah, so we've been blessed to have these opportunities, and we do our due diligence on the market. We don't even call unless we know it's a winner.
What do you think has made you successful in scaling your brand? Because they're all Dove Family Dentistries, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
See, here's my genius self with no business training. I said, let's make another brand. We already got McDonald's. Let's make a Wendy's. Oh boy, they cut me off of their kneecaps. Stuff. You're building McDonald's. You're building Starbucks. Stay the brand.
Yeah.
Gotcha, Chief. Remember, I told you I had no business training. I just have this brain. So what made us stable here is just hard work, right? So, when we do these owners retreats and different things, we meet different dentists or CEs or whatever. And I said, what makes you guys work? Because they want a lot of people, I'm going to work this and this and this. What does your patient need?
Yeah.
Go back to what we talked about earlier, alluded to earlier. What does your customer need? Your patient is your customer. It's still a business, so you have to understand there's still a financial component to it. But we don't work for the money. We work for the patients. Because if you run for money, if you try to work for money, you'll never catch it. It's always going to outrun you.
Yeah.
Work for quality, and quality will bring you quality. Quality work will bring you quality people. Everybody knows they have to pay something.
Right.
Present in a presentable, a professional way. Don't disrespect. Don't guess what's in their pocket. Give this to them. Let them make the choices, right? Don't bully them. Don't try to sell them products or techniques or procedures because you want to do more of those. What do they need? Address their needs, not the wants, right? So as we build our practices, and I know we'll go further along in different discussions, but it's finding a niche, or niche as they say, finding it and grow it. And don't be afraid to back away if it doesn't work,
Yeah.
right? Not spitballing it, but really think the process through, right? So joining, I built the practice as far as I could build it myself. It just kept going. It was monolithic for that low 5-chair office. I didn't realize they were giving people numbers in the front because I had 5 chairs, and it just kept producing. Wow. And because we had accessibility, people would come because they didn't have to get penalized for missing work. Like I have a lot of my guys that do construction, right? If it's raining, they're coming, but they may have had a treatment plan from a year ago.
Yeah.
And you have to, maybe had a fee increase, but they're paying fee for service or whatever. Not fee for service. We have a couple different plans in place, but you need to honor that.
Yeah.
It's a new year. We need to redo it. No, they're off today. They're here. They're still wearing their work garb. I need to get this done today. Can you guys do it? Listen to your folks. Don't get like you're the most important in the room. I said, when you come in this room, this building, to all our team members, you're the least important person. Your worries matter to me the least. If you can't work today, step outside. We can reassign you. We can repurpose you for another job. But don't bring the troubles inside because people are already scared.
Yeah.
And I'm a big dude with a deep voice. And I'm coming at you with something to put in your mouth and you just met me. How comfortable are you going to be? So I have to be able to get you down from that ledge you're on to have your courage to come in this office for us to actually be able to work on you. And we do that within a matter of minutes. And we do it quite frequently. So learn the pulse of your community, learn your people, and the rest will come with it.
So how are you able, though, to continue that level of patient touch, that quality now with 6 different locations, right? You've obviously had to build out a great team.
Right. Well, Dr. Polk, credit to my partner, Tony Polk, Dr. Tony Polk. Because the office I work at, we were able to expand that to 9 rooms. Thanks, Susan, for vision. But Dr. Polk and Susan, we early on had conversations that we're going to take this 5 and make it a 9.
So you just expanded the existing?
Expand the existing, but the nice part is because I can produce and we have a good team in place, we can bring in new doctors and we can train those doctors right there in that facility. I'm not as concerned with their production. I just need you to know how to fish. We're going to teach you how to fish. But it's not the fact of just fishing and doing procedures because, again, a lot of the docs, because they're smart, they didn't really work with some of their coworkers. So you need to know what makes them come to work and work harder than you for less money. And they have more drive than you. What is driving their motivation besides coming here? What is making them not just do the job, but do it at a high level? So we tell doctors, you're running a practice, which in certain purposes is a multi-million-dollar business. If you never take the business class like yours truly, and the doctors are younger, and they've never had a lot of real work experience. So I'm the doctor, I'm the king. No, we don't do that. No, we're just the cog in the wheel. So we have to figure out where our place is. So we do a lot of training to train future leadership. We train the doctors to stand alone so they can go into a practice. Not just here's 90 days, okay, and good luck.
Yeah.
Everybody develops at a different pace.
Clinical mentorship, cultural mentorship amongst your doctors, amongst your staff, because you're replicating a very successful business over and over and over.
Right, and we keep tweaking it because it's not a one-size-fit-all.
Yeah.
Right? So the second part of that is actually teaching the doctors. They don't understand the financials, right? Well, they could do that. Okay, you have $12,000 to pay for all this procedure and do it today? No. Let's phase it. What's first priority? Pull the thorn out the elephant's paw. Develop the relationship. Now you and the mice and elephant, now you're good friends. Start working the relationship over the years, not just when you need it. They only come to take a tooth out every 6 months. That's it. Don't judge them because you're not living their life. You don't know what responsibilities they have outside these doors. So it's really taking the doctor hat and put a human hat on there and say, put yourself in those shoes. Can you do that 2 years ago? I know you're a doctor. You're doing all right. But what about them?
Compassion.
All day.
Empathy.
All day, every day. If you don't have that, then especially in the communities that we treat, you're in the wrong profession.
Yeah.
So you have to be passionate. So when I go to work every day, I don't take my home with me, and I don't force an agenda on people. You know, I go to work with an empty belly. I'm always hungry to learn more. So the moment you start resting on your laurels, you're screwed. So you just keep developing. So what we do is we develop members. We have college students. We have people in dental school that we've mentored over the years. Some will come back, some won't, but you still open the door for them. Then we have other people that want to go into other professions. We have friends in the city. We'll refer them. Hey, go to this person, this person, this person. We look at report cards, look at grades. We find people that are interested about coming to the field, not just in dentistry. Because if you're going, nobody wants to be a dentist. I mean, not nobody, but you just can't force somebody to go into dentistry.
Yeah.
They'll be covered with tattoos or different places, but that needle comes to their mouth, oh, man. It's a whole different world. See, that's a psychological approach. So how can you do that? Get cross that barrier and then make a new friend. That's a hard tag. It's a hard strategy. You have to practice that. And if it's not innate, you don't have it. So that's part of our interview process, seeing what kind of character that you have. Not the academics. Everybody has that. Yeah. What kind of character are you?
That's awesome.
No, that's special. So you've got 7 locations now. What's the goal?
I think the goal initially for Memphis, I think we can put 10 there safely in the markets that we serve, at least 10. So we have roughly 8 to 10 people in various phases of education. Probably half of them will come back. Yeah. We want them to have homes, right? Because a job is flipping burgers. We don't do that. We want you to have a career.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we try to stay in touch as much as they last because we don't want to stalk anybody, right? But if they come home, I say, you come back home, come on, spend a few days in here. If they're students, we'll put them on, make them sterile tech, and they're going to work. Yeah. But you tell them, stay in touch. Because if they're from the area and they're back and say, we would like to start training you, of course we're not doing dentistry, but different facets of the practice and approaches and things like that while you're still in school. Because when you get out, it costs a lot more from a business perspective to train you.
True.
So we want to catch them, at least start teaching them the psychological aspect, the sociological aspects to their clientele. I said, it doesn't matter where you go in the country. If you want to make revenue, this is the community you need to service. And you're from these communities, which is primarily African-American, Latino communities that we service. That's where the opportunity lies for us in our community. Dr. Polk and I attended Meharry Medical College. All of our doctors, minus one, are HBCU trained. Most of our Meharians, which is 3 hours down the road from
Meharians,
us.
I like that.
Yeah, Meharians. Shout out to Meharry, class 98. Right? But anyway, 26 years of practicing, we with MB2, we do recruitment trips and missions, and we have able to touch these doctors and really be like an open source for them, like a Linux software. We're like Linux. We're open source. Just call us if you need us. Don't be scared. Well, doctor this, doctor this, doctor. I said, okay, we're going to be colleagues, so you can call me Joe. It's okay. There's no teachers around. You're not going to get kicked out of school for using my first name, right?
You've been telling me that for 8 years. I can't do it.
And she doesn't. See, Sarah. But I tell people, I said, look, that's what I do. That's not the totality of who I am. There's a lot of different facets to your personality. So everybody doesn't live their title when they leave their job.
But I like that. I like the mentality of getting ahead of like the character building with people, because I feel like you can teach technical traits. Like I can teach you how to be a sterile tech or how to work the front desk. But you're doing a really incredible job of building the core character traits that you want in your practice early on, because worst case, they don't come back to you and they're a good person out in the world doing great things.
Exactly. So you don't hold people's feet to the fire. You got to come back now. No, it's a free choice. If you want to come, it's cool. But at least we can give you some building blocks, right? If you have the building blocks, you can do what you want. So some will go, then they'll come back a little later. I had a friend reach out not too long ago that we worked with a few years ago, and then now they want to join. And not here in the state of Tennessee where we are located, but different state.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, let's throw some ideas around. I'll get back to you in a couple weeks. Give me what you're looking for, and I'll go hunting. So teaching the doctors, and they see the development, even doctors, if we left on good terms, say the phone always works. Just try it. Don't get in your head. 'Cause dentists are really bad about being in their own fiefdoms. This is my kingdom. This is where I stay. I want to do this and this and this. And then you wonder why you can't grow. A plant needs light. It needs sunlight. It needs direct light. I'm going to keep it right here in the corner. Never grow. So when I meet a lot of doctors, even the ones that join MB2, and we get a chance to speak to each other, I said, just share the ideas. Because the worst idea you have is the one you don't say,
I know we were just talking about keeping it clean, so I'm going to just preface this question. You're talking about owners getting together at MB2 and sharing ideas. You've been involved in almost 9 years worth of owners events, engagement with MB2. Tell us one of your favorite stories. Again, PG-13 if we're feeling freaky.
My wife, I've had a few knee surgeries over the years, and they had a wrestling ring in college.
God.
Oh, yeah.
And
I was there.
I had just come off an injury, and my wife was gripping my hand like a vice because they did a video years ago, right? It's, Dove, we like you. We're coming out, and we're going to shoot. We're going to follow you around the camera for a few days. And the first thing I said is, what are you going to do? I said, I told my wife I was going to be a wrestler. And I always, to this day, I said, I'm going to be a wrestler. And they hit that wrestling ring out there. I'm like, sweet Jesus, I'm going to get in that ring right now.
This is my moment.
And go. I was like, this is my time to shine. I'm going to tear my shirt off. I'm going to clothesline people. Because these guys were luchas and they were small. I'm like, they're about $150, $130. Oh, man, I could press you over my head. Oh, I had this whole repertoire worked out. I was going to clothesline people. They said, we got a wrestling ring. I'm like, I'm so there. I'm trying to go there. My wife is 5'1". Her little self, she just gripped my hand like she says, because I'm going to go in there and hurt myself. Yeah. But I really wanted to get in that ring. And I was like, I said, if I wasn't married to you and I didn't love you this much, I would be in that ring right now.
The junkyard dog.
Oh,
JYD.
my God. I put a chain and start shaking the ropes. Yeah, baby, play my music. But the ownership trips, there's a lot of fun things over there. Most of them I can't say. But it's a lot of fun. That's why one of the reasons you should join MB2. There's my company plug. Think.
Love it.
But real talk, there's no one moment on ownership trips because each time they're unique. Every time you find something different, right? So I'm getting a little older, so a little less rowdy for me. So I sit back and you find some guys with a little bit of snow on the roof, maybe some sunroof like myself, and you start sharing ideas of what brought you. Yeah. And sometimes I'm like, man, how do you run those offices? It's hard enough to run one. I said, just share ideas. I said, first thing, learn to say no fast. Learn to table something that you know is going to drive you crazy. Because healthcare practitioners, we're nurturers by nature, right? Yeah. I said, you either have speed and height in sports, it's the same thing in business. You either have it or you don't. So having that energy to go to these ownership trips, it's always something new. They know me before I know them because some have come from ownership days. Hey, man, you're the dude that does this and this and this.
Everybody's been introduced to you on the tours, too.
There are a few pictures of Dr. Dove.
Yeah, I know. I told my wife, I said, you should come and see. I said, she was on a trip, on one of the most recent trips, and she was like, these people saying, I know who you are because I've seen you. Yeah. You're Mrs. Dove. Mrs. Dove. So she said, Joseph, because we came, like I said, when we came, it was a really small group, but you can see the potential for growth. Mm-hmm. So really, I think that's what amazes me the most on the ownership trip, if I have to share anything, it's just watching that mammoth growth. Yeah. I mean, it's so big, and I get to meet so many new friends, right? And some people at first I said, don't come here to be a wallflower, because that's what brought you here was to be part of something. So I told them, I said, engage. How are you? Where are you from? What do you do? You know? Don't be scared of your shadow. It's okay. Share the ideas. That's the best part, honestly. I like meeting people. So that's the best part of the trip. So I can't really put a finger on what unique, trip was for me. But I guess not lie. My most memorable part was I went to Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
And Maui.
Yeah.
That was a blast because I ride motorcycles occasionally. So my partner, Tony Polk and I, we rented some motorcycles and we rode down the coastline.
Awesome.
And then I got a sweet tattoo. That's my first and only tattoo. And the tattoo artist, she was covered from head to toe. And she was a natural artist. So she put this on my arm. I don't know if I can put it on camera or not, but she did all this tattoo on my shoulder freehand.
Wow.
It was about 5 hours. It hurt like hell. But
I can't believe I was on that trip. I had no idea.
No, I stayed an extra day. We stayed an extra day. Mm-hmm. You know why I said we're going to stay because that was too quick. And that's a long flight coming from Hawaii. I'm just saying. You go there
For a weekend.
stay up all night so you can sleep on the way back. I didn't realize. And then you gain hours. You lose them going out, and you gain come back. Well, it's a train wreck.
Messed you up.
But it was fun. And the funny part was, we weren't going to go on that trip. Polk and I weren't going to go because we were dedicated to go to that same original mission trip.
Oh, yeah.
I got a phone call. That phone call said, "You two jokers are the only one." I'm saying jokers now, but it was some other one.
Yeah.
You two jokers are the only two that aren't going. This is big time for us and blah, blah, blah. It was some other things behind the scenes, and you need to make the trip. I'm like, dude, we're going to Jamaica, do that mission trip. The thing when I came on. I said, okay, man, this is called serious, like 9:30 at night. I won't say the person, Puckett, but
We all knew who it was.
so we got. I literally was at Tony Polk's house, and I was changing all the tickets to go. Cashed out, changed out the Jamaica tickets to go. I said, you happy now? Yeah, we're going.
Yeah.
Because I was committed to my volunteerism, but really the symbolism of this particular trip was important.
It was our 10-year anniversary trip, right?
Yeah, and I had to not miss that one. I'm like, I understand. But I like the volunteerism too, so I wasn't going. I said, man, what am I doing? I'm just kind of a jerk move. We literally changed everything because I really believe in giving back.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we ended up going to another one later. So
nice.
we made up for it. Yeah.
I feel like that trip was really interesting because on a lot of the owners' trips, there's like late nights, but like at 8:30 p.m. with the time change, everybody was like done. Because that's like what, 12:30, 1:30, depending on the time of year.
Yep. But my wife did good because normally she goes to bed early. On the owner's trip, she stays up. She has to get her energy up, and she's like, I'm staying. In order to make us, I'm staying up. I am not tired.
I love it.
She's going to hear this.
I was about to say, I don't know if she's going to like that.
No, she won't like it, but it's
love you,
true.
Mrs. Dove.
I said she's a reverse vampire. Sun goes down, like, you're supposed to come out. 7:30, 8 o'clock. Oh, man, she's done. I said, Tina, it's still sunny outside. It's time for me to go to bed.
Dr. Dove, we can't let you go without asking one final question.
Sure.
Or I can't let you go. I've got to do it. I'm sorry. For all of our listeners, Memphis is a great destination to go visit. Great town, awesome place. Best ribs in Memphis.
Most people say the Rendezvous.
What do you say?
My backyard.
I honestly believe
Right.
that.
It is.
Listeners,
It
you
is
heard
what
it
it
here.
is. My house, best food.
You heard it.
Or
here.
Dr. Polk. He's
Open-
second best to my cooking. But actually, no, best food, because I got spoiled. Being here, I went to high school in Houston, went to college in Dallas. I've had some great barbecue. Memphis has pretty good barbecue, but, TLC is better when you have barbecue.
All right.
And you make it at your house.
You guys heard it here first. MB2 Underground listeners, open invitation to Dr. Dove's backyard.
There you go, backyard, baby.
Next time you're in
You
town.
need some jerk chicken and some barbecue. Barbecue jerk chicken. Just created.
Hey, man, this has been a blast. Thank you.
Yes.
For being
you.
here. Thanks for
Thank
taking
you
the
so
time.
much for coming out.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Listeners, thank you for joining us for another great episode of the MB2 Underground podcast. We will catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.